Welcome to For You Radio, where the gospel's for the believer and the unbeliever alike. That is everybody, especially you. And you know who you are. So I'm glad that you're here with us. I'm Craig D'Onofrio, pastor of Redeemer Lutheran Church in Wilmer, Minnesota.
Yeah. I am joining your pastor, St. Peter's Lutheran Church, Shaker Heights, Shaker Heights, Ohio. I don't even know why I said that.
Shaker Heights.
I was trying to go like Shaker Heights and Ohio at the same time. So Shaker, Ohio, I don't know.
Yeah.
Here we are, though.
Something like that.
And yes.
For You Radio. That's what we are here.
Indeed.
And yes, go check out 1517.org, our sponsors. All sorts of great resources there. Check them out. Yes.
No, go ahead. I'm just thinking of something.
No, that's all.
No. Oh, okay. All right.
What about email?
What about
email?
That's exactly what I was thinking of. You read my mind. Yep. Yeah. So, hey, Dale writes in, Mrs. Dale, as a matter of fact, and listens from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma, which is super cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So, hey, thanks for your email, Mrs. Dale. I really appreciate it. It's very encouraging, and it's a lot of fun to do the show, and it's a lot of fun to have you write in. So thank you. Anyone else that wants to write in?
Did Mrs. Dale say anything, or just howdy?
Well, you want me to read it?
Is it?
Well, this
personal?
is touching. I want you to know I'm listening and now emailing you. I appreciate your humor and humble voices delivering the gospel to me. Yeah.
Humble
voices. Yep. There we go.
Oh, my arrogance isn't coming through powerfully enough, I guess. I need to work on that.
But the gospel is coming through, and that's what's super important. And so, Mrs. Dale, thank you so much. Anyone else who would like to email in, we appreciate your comments, your questions. We appreciate your prayers and your prayer requests. You can, email us at, foryouradio@1517.org, correct? That's right.
The one.
I know this. Okay.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. So, let's see. I guess we'll just jump right into our topic. We're continuing on the book of Judges. And if you remember, we've had this downward spiral of stupid, as I like to say, where the judges keep just getting dumber and dumber. And once again, you see the whole cycle going on where we worship Yahweh, and then, oh, look, those guys have a cool looking God. Let's go worship that one. And Yahweh says, fine, if you want to do that, you can. And then he just kind of lets them do their thing. They end up being slaves or subjected or something. And bad stuff happens. And then they repent and they come back and they say, we worship Yahweh again. And judge comes and leads them back and so forth and so on. So anyway, the cycle just keeps going on. And it seems to get kind of dumber and dumber as we go along. And of course, now we're up to Samson, that great hero, that great Bible hero, man of God.
Oh, boy. Yeah, well, you would think.
As we pick up in chapter 16, we see
from the
what
Sunday
a great
school
man
stories,
of God.
From the Sunday school stories that I heard and learned as a kid, yeah, you think Samson is this super Bible hero. And you know what? While you were talking, a thought struck me, and I had to look at it real quick. And so this is the product of 5 seconds of research. So if I'm wrong, someone please correct me. However, I think Samson's the last judge of the book of Judges. I don't think there's anyone after him who's actually labeled a judge.
I really haven't thought about that, so I won't speculate. We need to get Chad Bird on to talk about this. He's our Old Testament expert at 1517, and he's got a new book out, by the way.
Does he?
That I think I need to get my hands on. Hitchhiking with the Prophets. So you should go check that out at 1517. Cool. I'm going to grab one.
Cool.
So that'd be good. Yeah. So we're in Judges, and we're picking up at chapter 16, where we're going to hear right now about what a holy and righteous individual, what a great example for the children Samson is. Right?
My goodness, yeah.
So at the end of last chapter, he just killed 3,000 Philistines with the jawbone of a donkey, an ass, and he's in a lather. He's worked up. He's worked up a mighty thirst and a mighty hunger.
He was 1,000, by the way. That's okay.
What did I say?
You said 3,000.
Oh, inflation over the years.
Okay, exactly. Yeah.
I didn't even notice that I said that.
Donkey's jawbone that didn't go as far today as it used to. I mean,
no. You know, I think you're lucky to get 500 out of a good jawbone these days. They just don't make them like they used to.
Moving forward.
So, Samson, like I said, worked up a mighty thirst, mighty hunger. And so we pick up in chapter 16 and we read.
Oh, wait.
Samson.
Wait. One second. So there was really interesting at the end of chapter 15.
Yeah.
Is that Samson apparently, really for the first time ever, acknowledged that his strength and his victories have come by the hand of the Lord, and he has placed himself into the hand of the Lord, entrusting himself to provide and to care for him, right? That thing, shall I now die of thirst and fall in the hands of the uncircumcised? So he seemed like very concerned, and we kind of left there going, has Samson learned his lesson? Has he actually become a faithful man after all? Now, verse chapter 16.
Yeah. After he slayed 10,000 Philistines.
1,000.
With the jawbone of a poodle. So this is the revised version. So, chapter 16. Sorry, I'm just being goofy now. Samson went to Gaza. Now, we know about all the problems in Gaza right now. We're not even going to go there. So, Samson goes to Gaza, and there...
Oh, wait. Hold on.
Yeah.
You mean to tell me, Craig, that the modern-day problems of Israel and Gaza are not directly related to the ancient biblical problems of Israel and Gaza? You're saying we can't draw an immediate parallel from them?
I'm not going to say that there's a direct parallel, but I'm not going to say there isn't a direct parallel either.
You say, can we draw a straight line from Judges 16 to today?
Well, I think we can draw a straight line from Genesis 3 to today. How's that?
Nice one. Okay, we can do that. Okay.
With the fall of humanity, I think it's all related to the problems we have today.
Okay. In terms of just
not to
general
get too
sin,
specific here,
but not necessarily. So we're not like dispensationalists where we're going to like insist this whole Israel Gaza thing is actually biblical, right?
Okay, so
anyway.
After Samson killed 100,000 Philistines with a jawbone of a gecko, we read this.
That is the amplified version, by the way.
Samson went to Gaza, and there he saw a prostitute, and he went into her.
Yeah.
And the Gazites were told, Samson has come here. And they surrounded the place and set an ambush for him all night at the gate of the city. They kept quiet all night, saying, now this, I don't understand. How did they keep quiet and say this at the same time? Let us wait till the light of the morning, then we will kill him. But Samson lay until midnight, and at midnight he arose, took hold of the doors of the gate of the city and the two posts, and pulled them up, bar and all, and put them on his shoulders, and carried them to the top of the hill that is in front of Hebron. Now,
yes.
Troy, you are the map master. Tell us about this, this little jog up to this hill.
Honestly, never used to be, and my biblical land geography is still pretty poor, but it's something I've come to value and actually kind of working on growing my knowledge in this. So I had to look this up, though. And when I was a kid, I always got this impression, okay, he left the city with this gate, carried it up the hill that the city was on, or at the foot of, chonked it right there. But no, I got thinking about this, like, wait, Gaza to Hebron, or Hebron, you know how far that is? I mean, if you could walk a straight line, just like one point to the other, if you were at the proverbial as the crow flies.
Now, you would also be going over small mountains if you did that, right?
Yes, you would be, which then, by the way, adds time and everything. But so if it's straight line, flat line, it is still nearly 40 miles. It's about 38 miles total that he carried these huge, ginormous, heavy gates, and he chonks them down at Hebron. Yeah, one of them.
Hebron.
Thank you. Hebron. Thank you. So wow, for one. Two, I mean, if they're at the gates of the city, Daniel Block has this commentary where he kind of lays out some pictures of this, of what's this going to look like. And there are multiple guard rooms, and then you encounter the gates. So his conclusion is that the Lord has caused him to fall into such a deep sleep that Samson can do this without waking them up.
Okay.
So,
let's look at that distance for a second here and just realize that it's probably about a 3 or 4 day trek if you consider that they're going over the hills and dales and all that stuff. So he's really dedicated to carrying these gates a long ways for reasons we don't understand.
But you know what? I don't, right? I don't understand this little section. I don't understand why we need to know. I don't understand why we don't get more detail about it. But I do think it does set up for the rest of this chapter. And so we have some things going on here. Also, too, it kind of ensures that we know that, hey, Samson, he's not just causing problems with a few Philistines. He's not just causing problems with like one household or such and so forth. They all hate him now.
Right.
They all hate him. And when they
become very unpopular in general.
And when they've got pictures of him up around, I say, don't let this man in. And there he is, like, we got to do something to this guy, right?
Okay. So they really don't like him.
How heavy are these
I mean,
gates,
after all, you did just kill like 3 million of them. So there's
with
that.
the jawbone of a mole.
Yes.
And how heavy are these gates, by the way? I have no idea. They got to be stupid heavy.
Well, he pulled them up, posts and all. He didn't even unbar them. So, I mean, this is...
Right. Yes.
I'm sorry. I mean, if I just pulled the back door off my house and carried it 40 miles, I don't think I could do that. So
again, a clear example of his, let's say, divinely given strength, right?
Yes. Yeah.
The Lord
and endurance
has strengthened him. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so he did this mighty feat once again, and we pick up in verse 4. After this, now let's remember, he did this mighty work of God, slaying all these Philistines, and first thing he does is go to a prostitute. Mighty man of God. Okay, so verse 4. After this, he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, which is where Spock is from, you pointed out, whose name was Delilah. And the lords of the Philistines came up to her and said, seduce him, and see where his great strength lies, and by what means we may overpower him, that we may bind him to humble him. And we will each give you 1,100 pieces of silver. So Delilah said to Samson, please tell me where your great strength lies, and how you might be bound, that one could subdue you.
Well, there you go.
And Samson didn't think to say, well, that's interesting. Why do you ask? No.
So, Samson, if someone wanted to kill you, let's say, how would they do that?
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Samson, nothing is setting off his alarms here, right? He's kind of,
the cycle of stupid is stupid.
Hey, how much money are they offering her?
Yeah, that 1,100 pieces of silver. You were calculating.
Well,
before,
you had to help me too, because I don't know how much silver goes for per ounce today.
Yeah, I found the spot price of silver about $31.
As of this very date, which is I don't know, a few days or a week before this program airs, silver is, what did you say, $30.96 per ounce.
Yeah.
A shekel.
You could round up to 31, I think you'd be safe.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay. Yeah. A shekel, you get about 2.5 shekels per ounce. Of course, they didn't use ounces in those days, so we got to do a little conversion there. In other words, what is about $12 per piece of silver?
Shekel.
Assuming they are indeed shekels, which is a fair assumption. And anyway, we ended up with what? So probably 5 lords of the Philistines, because they're each one of the 5 great governors of the Pentapolis, the 5 great cities. And we ended up with $69,000. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yes, or each one is going to give her 13,000 and some change.
Adjusted for inflation, yes. That's right. So, it's a good chunk of change, especially since she doesn't have a whole lot invested in this guy.
I wouldn't think so. I would think this is a fairly new thing,
Yeah.
So I think she's saying, well, yeah, 60 grand plus almost 70 grand for a guy that I met yesterday. I mean, he's big and strong and handsome, but
he seems to be rather enamored with her. So anyway, this is so
okay,
that.
But how many women hasn't Samson been enamored with?
Yeah, that's a good point. He's gotten around.
Okay,
he's a man after God's own heart. Don't forget, he's a great man of God.
Okay,
and
he's a great bad example. Is what he is.
Terrible example.
Oh, by the way,
children.
Notice though too the shift in tactics on behalf of the Philistines. Before with his wife, I think the Timnite woman.
Oh yeah. We'll just burn you to death.
Burn
if
you
don't
and your
tell
family.
us what we want to know.
Yeah. Now they're like, this is worth some money to us.
Yeah.
Let's go with a softer
They've
tactic,
decided to.
Right. Yeah.
They've decided to invest in more than a box of matches at this point. So.
Yeah. So there it is. Tell me where your great strength lies and how you might be bound that one could subdue you. We hear a dun, dun, dun.
And Samson scratches his head and says, do what? So, verse 7 then. Samson said to her, if they bind me with 7 fresh bowstrings that have not been dried, then I shall become weak and be like any other man. And the lords of the Philistines brought up to her 7 fresh bowstrings that had not been dried, and she bound him with them. Now she had men lying in ambush in an inner chamber, and she said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. But he snapped the bowstrings as a thread of flax snaps when it touches the fire. So the secret of his strength was not known. So she's got assassins in the house, and she's done the one thing that he says will make him weak. And then she is about to spring the assassins on him, and he just snaps the bowstrings. And does he learn a lesson? No. No, he does not.
I gotta say, now this is a little bit speculation because I just this whiff just went right by me, and I thought, oh, that's interesting. Where are these men lying in ambush? In ambush? In the inner chamber.
Right.
Okay, so we saw before that Samson went to his woman who was supposed to be his wife, and he desired to take her to the inner chamber, the bedroom, as it were. The fact that she has these guys hiding in the inner chamber, I wonder if that might inform us that she hasn't taken Samson there yet. You know?
I don't know.
So I think we might be right in saying that she's dangling out some hope in front of him, as it were, kind of trying to seduce him, but playing him out, playing him along.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Samson doesn't seem like the sort to play the long game. I mean, he kind of seems like immediate gratification kind of guy,
right? Yes.
So it's kind of hard to say.
Well, but, I think that's kind of the thing, though, right? Like, hey, tell me the source of your great strength, and I'll take you to bed. That might. Yeah. I think we at least have a hint of that here.
Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
However, as
Chapter
the thread of flax
10
snaps when it touches the fire, then Delilah said to Samson, "Behold, you have mocked me and told me lies. Please tell me how you might be bound."
How dare you? I just tried to kill you and you lied to me.
Said to her, if they bind me with new ropes that have not been used, then I shall become weak like any other man. So Delilah took new ropes and bound him with them and said to him, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. And the men lying in ambush were in an inner chamber. But he snapped all the ropes off his arms like a thread.
Yeah. So second attempt on his life, and he still doesn't quite figure out that maybe she's no good.
I don't
know.
Even the way he says it, if they bind me, who's they, Samson? Who you talk about they?
if those guys hiding in your bedroom like popped out of there and tried to kill me.
Yes. So and now I guess we should assume this is over the course of a period of time, right? It may be not all in the same day, I don't think. But
I don't know.
yes.
Once again, we need Chad Bird, so he could tell us. So I'm sure he knows.
Yes. One more shift here with the next scene, though.
Yeah.
So he's lied to her twice. Then Delilah said,
why don't you?
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, I was about to say, why don't you go ahead?
Verse 13. Delilah said to Samson, "Until now you have mocked me and told me lies. Tell me how you might be bound." And he said to her, "If you weave the 7 locks of my head with the web and fasten it tight with the pin, I shall become weak and be like any other man." So while he slept, Delilah took the 7 locks of his head and wove them into the web. And she made them tight with the pin and said to him, "The Philistines are upon you, Samson." But he awoke from sleep and pulled away the pin, the loom, and the web.
So here's how deep do you have to be sleeping that someone weaves your hair tightly and puts it in a man bun and you don't wake up?
I
mean, first thing is, let's take a look at this. Basically, he's saying, if you put my hair in a man bun, I'll become a complete wuss.
If you weave it,
and I
into the
believe this
loom,
to be true in general.
If you, oh,
yeah.
Good grief! I can't believe you just went there. Sorry, all you millennials and Generation Z. He didn't mean it. Man buns are really nice.
If you're wearing the man bun, don't.
Man buns,
That's all I have to say.
Really
don't.
Nice. It's okay.
No. No, don't do it.
Yes. So
you deserve Delilah.
I mean,
I
would think that we could assume maybe a couple different things here. Maybe a couple different things. Either she has gotten him drunk to the point that he has passed out. Again, kind of part of that.
But he's a Nazirite. He can't touch booze.
Yes, well, we've seen all that before. Right?
Nor can he hang out with loose women.
Or eat anything unclean. Yeah, right. And he's broken all of it. By the way.
He can't eat honey from the guts of a dead lion. He can't do that.
By the way, though, he has broken every vow of the Nazirite except one up to this point. And that's the hair.
The dew.
Look how close he gets to telling her the truth right now. I mean, he is like standing right by the fire, just playing with the fire at this point.
Yep.
I don't know. I don't know if he's deliberately risking this or what. But in any event, he's getting really close to telling her the truth. He still doesn't, but he is really close. And we got to consider why this man is dedicated to God. That's what a Nazirite means, to be dedicated, set apart to God from birth, whom God has given great strength, whom God has been with him every step of the way. Why is this guy about to tell all of his secrets to this woman?
Now, you had earlier, before we started recording, made the point that the hair is pretty much the outward sign of the Nazirite.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, you're not really going to look into their bellies and see what they've eaten today,
right.
Or, that sort of thing. But the hair is the giveaway. The hair is the mark.
Yeah.
And so he's bearing this mark of God. And even though he's completely useless and faithless in every other way, and this is why I hate Samson, is because he's me. I bear the sign of baptism.
Oh.
I bear the sign of the cross, and yet I am faithless. I am a sinful idiot like Samson.
Nice. Yeah.
Now, mind you, I have not yet eaten honey out of the guts of a lion, nor have I slayed 80 billion Philistines and then gone straight to a prostitute. But in my heart, I'm every bit as wicked. So there.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're asking all this stuff, but you just gave us the answer. Why does he do all this? Because he's a stupid sinner just like you or me.
Because Genesis 3.
There we are again.
It's all attached to Genesis 3, when we were complete idiots in the garden. So there. Yeah.
So, and finally, look at this final tactic, and recall that we have seen this before, of the woman finally just breaking down in tears. Seen this before in the story of Samson with his wife woman that he was supposed to marry.
How can you say I love you when your heart isn't with me?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Well, you want to read the rest of that?
Oh, yeah. And she said to him, how can you say I love you when your heart isn't with me? Have you mocked me these 3 times, and you've not told me where your great strength lies? And when she pressed him hard with her words day after day and urged him, his soul was vexed to death. You want to touch on that?
Yeah,
phrase
we did that before, because the other woman,
Yep.
the Timnite woman that he was supposed to marry, did the same thing to him, the same exact thing. And kind of literally in the Hebrew, his soul was shortened to death, right? His life was shortened to death. Like the idea is, you just kill me now rather than nag me one more time. Yeah.
Right. You're killing me, lady.
Yes.
Okay. So, and he told her all his heart and said to her, a razor has never come upon my head, for I have been a Nazarite to God from my mother's womb. If my head is shaved, then my strength will leave me, and I shall become weak and be like any other man. Now, she's tried to kill him 3 times, doing the sort of thing that he just tells her now, except this time, knowing that whatever he says to her, she's going to try it, and he gives away the goods.
Well, I mean, on the one hand, I don't know
He was
that
vexed
he
to
knows.
death. I mean, there's that.
I don't know that he knows she's tried to kill him. I don't know if the assassins have ever made an appearance before, but he is really, really dense, right?
So what you're saying is he's big, strong, and stupid,
Yes.
right?
But also too, look at this, and this is kind of hidden away in the English, but it leaps out a little more in the Hebrew, and it's still a really light thing that is still, I think, pretty important. He told her all his heart. One, that's deep, right? He gave her everything. And he says, I've been a Nazarite to God. Now, one would think he would use the covenant name of God, that I've been a Nazarite to Yahweh. And if that was the case, in the English, it would have had capital Lord, Lord. That's how we tend to translate Yahweh as that way. This is just God, generic Elohim, could be the Israelite God, could be some other God. He doesn't use the covenant name of the Lord. And instead, he's just, hey, I've been dedicated to even a God from my mother's womb.
Interesting.
And again, he's not taking this seriously. Like you said, this hair is the very mark of his consecration to the Lord. It is the thing that anyone can look at him and says, there is a man that is dedicated entirely to God. And he's not taking it seriously.
Yep.
And
Yep.
yeah. So when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she sent and called the lords of the Philistines, saying, come up again, for he's told me all his heart. The lords of the Philistines came to her and brought the money in their hands. Wow. She made him sleep on her knees, and she called a man and had him shave off the 7 locks of his head.
Once again, how deep do you need to be sleeping that someone can shave your head and you don't wake up?
Pretty deeply.
Yeah. Anyway, not sure how that works, but maybe she had the magic potion.
Either magic potion, a lot of liquor, or again, that God has caused him to fall into this deep sleep.
All right.
Then she began to torment him, and his strength left him. So I'm not sure what that means, but apparently I think maybe in his sleep, she's poking him. Is he strong? Is he strong? I don't even know. I don't think he's strong. And she said, the Philistines are upon you, Samson. And he woke from his sleep and said, and this is so ironic, I will go out as other times and shake myself free. But he did not know that the Lord had left him. Wow.
So there you have it. The Lord has left him. I'm going to do the cliffhanger at this point. Tune in next time to find out how all this shakes out. And thanks for joining us. We'll catch you next time on For You Radio. Until then, God's peace. For You Radio is a 1517.org production. To listen to this radio broadcast and podcasts like this one, I invite you to visit 1517.org. There you will also find many publications and free resources, including classes on Christian apologetics, church history, philosophy, and so much more. We are completely funded by generous donors like you. Would you consider making a generous gift to our work of spreading the gospel? Simply visit 1517.org.